welcome to the Daily Grind podcast. First episode.
First of many.
It's exciting.
Hopefully many good ones.
Yeah, definitely. I think the idea of today's episode is just to sit down, have a bit of a chat, and see where it takes us.
Three lads, just have a little bit of a waffle, and hopefully people listening enjoy.
Yeah, definitely.
Chat. Then down the line, hopefully bring in some very important people to share their sort of journeys with their businesses and how their life's been so far.
Which I have to say, lads, extremely excited about. I think that's going to be one of the most interesting, just to be able to dive into some people's journey and sort of really seeing how they've developed and how they're sort of going along their journey in entrepreneurship or whatever sort of journey they're going on.
I feel like it'd just be legends to sit down with some people, like-minded people, share some stories, like you said, the experiences and whatnot. Like at the start, it's just a little waffle, it's relaxed, it's casual.
A couple of coffees.
Of course.
Couple of coffees.
Speaking of coffees, what are we gone for?
We've got a black Americano standard.
Yeah, there's two of them.
Beautiful. One here as well. And then we've got this weird thing over here.
Yeah, what have you got, Owen?
Little flat white, mate. Little flat white. Put some respect. If you've got milk in your coffee, there's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having milk in your coffee. I think a lot of people can resonate with me on that one.
I just don't want to break the fast. So
it's all about
So
fast, isn't it?
we'll forget about the acai bowler this morning.
yeah,
then.
we don't mention that.
Yeah, how did that
Acai
go down?
and a pastry.
Is that the one?
Nothing better than a coffee and a pastry.
Wow,
though.
cinnamon bun as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was hefty.
Howls on that.
Probably about
Howls on
$4.50.
that.
Well, he won't be telling his clients that. He won't be telling his clients.
Absolutely not. Setting the
Speaking of
standard.
that, should we just run in a little brief rundown in case people don't actually know anything about us at all, which the likelihood is they don't.
No, they definitely don't.
No one does.
There's no doubt about that. They definitely don't.
Yeah. So, little brief rundown, who we are, what we do,
Yeah.
why we're here.
Kick us off.
You go, mate. You
All
start
right,
us off.
fine. So a little bit about my journey. I've, for nearly 2 years now, been running a social media marketing agency. Now going down the route of owning a software company as well, which is super exciting. Mainly specialising with my social media agency in content creation and organic strategy. And now we're going down the lead generation route, which is really, really exciting with the software company.
Telly said that before.
Cool. Is that a pitch?
That was a pitch,
Straight
yeah,
into
so-
the sales.
So the three people
The
watching.
hands start
Mate,
going.
board.
There's going to be 4. There'll be at least 4. So yeah, just drop me a message.
Decent.
Interested in lead gen. Well, to be fair, me and Charlie, same industry. It's a little bit of a different setup. Background of it would be we sort of been speaking last 2 years, sort of started the journey together. Myself still in employment, just got things on the side as well. It's all within social media, paid ads, SEO. Currently working for a company that do sort of website development alongside paid advertising, and then on the side, personally, started video editing. It's just a little bit of a hobby, and then through friends, etc., adding value to people, your circles cross over, and then we're sort of starting to go down the route of a video editing agency, maybe tie in some lead gen stuff, who knows, but that's sort of for the future, and we'll see how this podcast goes, and you never know, we can't fast forward another year and we'll be having a totally different story, but
Exciting.
Never know.
Exciting.
Yeah. Awesome.
Last but not least.
Yeah. So I'm a bit different to these guys.
Yeah.
I'm an online transformation coach in the fitness industry, basically helping guys out there build muscle, lose body fat, get in the shape of their life, that sort of thing.
guys and girls, don't want to niche off.
Not yet. But no, nonetheless, as well, working with Murph now as well, as he's doing his own sort of side hustle and whatnot, bringing him in as a videographer and editor to sort of take content to the next level. But yeah, that's the sort of brief rundown of what I'm doing at the moment.
I think although our industries are slightly different, they do share the same sort of value and sense of the way that we all market ourselves and sort of our interest in media as a whole. Obviously, you use it a lot for your job. It's pretty much sort of the core of your job, isn't
Social media.
Yeah.
Without that, I would.
Well, all
be
of
in
us,
work.
social media as a whole, I don't think we'd be here if it weren't for it.
No,
True.
no, it's crazy how things change so quickly though. Like all the different industries nowadays that potentially aren't using it are the ones that are sort of falling off and
Yeah.
sort of falling behind.
It's like my dad obviously used to run his own estate agents, and if I ever mentioned social media or clearing up his website or whatever, which wasn't fancying it. It's the sort of old-fashioned marketing that they used to do, and how the world's changed massively in regards to everything now, just running through socials.
Definitely, there's definitely pros and cons to it though.
100% as there is of anything.
Which I'm sure we'll dive deep into.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely. I think definitely a big con for social media space as a whole for me is obviously the attention span deficit that's been taking place. I think we were speaking about it before the podcast on the train here about trying to remember the last 5 TikToks we watched is becoming like going through a dictionary and trying to remember, you know, the certain words that you're researching. It's just impossible.
It's just that constant, like 1 second watch, scroll, and like you're like going forwards, our generation, their attention span's going to be
shocking.
Yeah, terrible.
We're on the way. I'll hold my hands up.
100%.
Yeah, you catch yourself doing it, and then it's sort of like you go down that rabbit hole. Next thing, you went on to check one thing to see what so and so's up to, or like, oh, I remember I needed to go back and just have a look at this thing. Half an hour later, you're looking at like cats and dogs doing a mazza, and then it's just you're just like, what am I doing here?
Bad for that as well.
What am I doing here? I'm a waste of space. Get me out of this. Like, I need to go back. I'm not getting that half an hour back.
Yeah,
and then it just becomes a constant cycle. But yeah, it's not a good one. But I feel the first step of it is recognizing it. Like, say for instance, to like pull yourself out of it and then be able to sort of review what you've just done. So God forgive my sins. Like, I've just wasted half an hour of my time.
Yeah.
And like recognizing it and then probably doing things around it. Like, tried the deleting Instagram, tried deleting this, tried deleting that. But it's sort of just constantly always feeds back in. It always comes back round and gets you.
I think for like content creators as well, that's tough because you've got to try and grasp someone's attention.
You got to stay up
like
with trends.
That. Yeah, but like they just watch a second and then they've got to be on your video, or they're just going to swipe past it. And I think that longer form of content, YouTube and whatnot, if someone's watching like a 15-minute video of you, they've got to be so invested in you.
But that's where you got your like your Gary V's, and you talk on a more like technical level of it. And this is where I get a proper little buzz off this sort of stuff.
A little bit of a nerd.
Yeah, a little bit of a nerd. Yeah, I'll hold my hands up. Yeah, it is what it is. But like, you tee up your short form content, and that's sort of like what myself and Harry are smashing out at the moment. It's teeing up for the short form content. Then lines people up to then engage, find out more about you, and then you've got your long form content, and it's actually your conversion. So say for instance, moving about platforms, you got your TikTok, it's short, it's quick, it's snappy. Who's this guy? Where's he come from? What does he do? Next thing you know, you're in the Harry Knights rabbit hole. You're scrolling.
So you've signed up.
Yeah, you're scrolling.
You're on a 4-week plan.
And then say if you transfer across platforms to your Instagrams, you've got more technical, more. A lot more. There's a abundance of like value there, and that's sort of like where you can then start from a business point of view, generating your leads, etc. But again, it's ever changing, and you've got your paid ads, and today it's a pay to play game.
100%.
It's like we say about all the like the negatives of like going on to TikTok, for example, and then getting stuck in this algorithm. But ultimately, that's what we've built our businesses off, and that so many businesses are benefiting from that. And like marketing as a whole is all about how can I keep that person on this platform to engage with my content. But it's such a crazy world on how quickly these platforms are changing.
Yeah, definitely. I think like you touched on, there's pros and cons, and I feel like one of them is algorithms, all of that business. The more time you spend on it, the more it learns about you. I don't know if you've seen like Social Dilemma. That's a good little Netflix watch. Yeah, it opens your eyes up. We was joking saying, you know, the algorithm knows more about me than my missus does, kind of thing. It knows it's actually frightening.
Scary. Scary.
But on that, it's more a case of like the content that you're getting recycled through. It's obviously in relation to yourself. So say me personally, I see your David Goggins telling me I should get out of bed and I'm this, I'm that, I need to be doing more, I need to be doing this. Then you've got your Hormozis, your business. Oh yeah, absolute legend. And I'm just constantly getting like reminded of that, like hustle this, you need to non-stop, you need to be doing this person's doing that, what are you doing kind of thing. And it's like, it can be quite like a negative, dangerous cycle to fall into, but I don't know how you boys feel about that. Like,
I think it can motivate you for a short space of time, but you're not always going to be motivated, are you?
Never.
And I think you can't just rely on that.
Especially living in the UK.
Well, so many,
can't rely on
and
that.
so many people will watch it and feel motivated, feel great. But really, it's I think the most important thing is the discipline that comes 100%. With that motivation, because you know they watch, and I think this is similar to those sort of style of videos. You'll watch a David Goggins or whoever it may be, and you're feeling really pumped up. But the people that actually do something with that pump or that motivation is when you can actually match that motivation with some sort of discipline and
Yeah.
putting it into a routine.
I always say this to my clients as well. Like, your motivation is going to come and go,
Yeah.
but it's the ones that stay disciplined and go to the gym on days they don't feel like it that actually get results.
It's cliche stuff, and
It is, but if you simply rely on motivation to try and get somewhere, you're not going to get
Yeah.
anywhere.
Do you know what it is? It happened to me the other week. I've like gone in. Oh, I can't remember who it was. Again, that content hustle, need to be doing this, doing that, and it was like some deep story. There's music. I'm so like immersed in this video, and then literally I was like, yes, I'm taking on the world after listening to this. I shut my phone off and it was dead silent around, and I was sort of like, but literally, like I was riding this like motivation. I was literally, I'm gonna smash it. I'm about to hop in a work block. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. The video went off. Sound was flat. There was nothing going on around me, and then it's like, fuck, like, I
You've actually got to implement.
I've got to now go do this
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing, and it's like it's almost like a caffeine high. Like you just it cycles up and down. It's just
I think that's where loads of people will then drop off, because they get that buzz, like you said, like with caffeine. They'll get that buzz of this, watching this motivation, or seeing a friend do something really good, something inspiring. Oh, I want that. But they won't actually realise that person had to go through a year or however long it was of implementing these daily little grinds every single day. Plug the podcast name there.
on that, by the way. I don't want the coffee's getting cold, you know.
Yeah, that
Like,
might-
you
might
boys,
be
you boys have
my
got a
tongue
cup
in a
of
second.
crude
Black
oil,
coffee
so that's
and
staying.
hot
Yeah.
water, mate.
Mate, this-
That's not.
yeah.
You've got milk in it. That's going to go cold. pretty
Nothing
soon.
wrong with it. I'll say it again. I got a nice little pretty pattern in mine. Did you?
No.
Exactly.
You don't need a pretty
Who's the
fat-
real winner? Football's always the winner.
Shout out Jimmy Bullard.
No, it's definitely a topic that we always speak about, though. To be fair, the whole hustle porn community, as they call it.
But I think like a lot of like my clients, they'll make a decision, they'll make a buying decision, or they'll start their gym journey because of that initial motivation. Then it's down to me to try and provide a program and a system to put in place that can help that discipline.
Plug.
Because you need that result. You need to get those results. You need that discipline. Just a
You're an online.
Yeah, if you're interested,
I was going to say, you're an online coach. Should have said.
But no, yeah, dribs and drabs. I feel like it's the way forward with it. Like you get in there because it's like against your real life. So like if you're looking at it and you're watching David Goggins running in rain, snow, thunder, and you're sat there in your snuggly bugly gear in your bed, like, oh yeah, that looks serious. I should probably do that. But they're complete two like worlds apart, and it just it sets you up. Like you can probably go down, spiral that off into like a mental health thing, and then go down that sort of path of like conversation, etc. But yeah, I feel like the main thing is being able to just take yourself out of it, like say like meditating or whatnot. Like it's the whole point is you take yourself out of your current situations, like your thoughts, all of this business. It's not you. It's cliche to say, but like you're able to be like, oh, I've just spent X time doing that. What does this mean? And you sort of look at it from like a higher perspective, and because you're technically not in it, you just feel completely different about it. You've just got this completely neutral feeling. Don't get me wrong, when I've sat there watching my little gone down the rabbit hole for half an hour, still feel a bit, terrible about it. But, we move. We realise you can't do that, and then you clock yourself again. You stop it, delete the app, you do this, you do that, notifications off.
Have you ever deleted it?
Oh yeah, it's like 3-4 times.
You?
What, social media?
Yeah, or like anything.
No.
Really?
It's simple. I don't think I have. I've set myself. I don't have any notifications on. It's between certain hours, and then like in the evening, I might turn them back on. Because most of the time, if you want to see a message about actually opening it, it's sometimes nice to have them on. But I don't think I've ever gone completely cold turkey. But
I feel like, just on that, obviously, I feel like your relationship with it is probably different to mine. Like, say for instance, like if I'm in the gym, I'll just be listening to some music, a little bit of Drake, banging album out, by the way. Whereas the man to my left just loves hearing people in his ear.
I love someone telling me I'm a worthless piece of shit when I'm at the gym.
What, are we swearing on this podcast?
Yeah, I was monitoring that, but I don't know.
Let's be real. I don't.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
oh,
let's
fair
be
dues.
real with
Yeah.
it.
takes it on the AdSense,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
monetization. Down the drain.
But yeah,
No,
But I agree. Like, yeah.
No,
I feel like you're the middle point between both
Yeah,
of us.
I
Like,
can-
say for instance, I'm more like bit of like drill, some like kind of aggressive music. You want to be told you're a piece of shit. He'll listen
middle
to
ground.
Adele. He'll be singing
no,
mid-set.
I can go
Or-
Adele, I can go Drake, I can go like that, but
Really?
I've got that discipline though. So
Really?
I could listen to no music.
Really?
No, I
are
couldn't
you on? Are
actually.
you on the like? If you want to succeed,
No, I
as
could
bad
never-
as you want to
It's more
be.
music. It's got to be music for me.
I think come this far, it only comes this far.
But you can't.
I came this far to keep
If you
moving
turned up-
forward.
If you turned up to the gym without your headphones and you couldn't have
No, I
that in your
would.
ear,
I'll
you-
just
would
listen
you-
to the dead gym music.
I
You
feel
still
like
get
you
the
do that.
session
Would
in.
you do that?
Oh,
as, like-
100%, yeah.
Would you do that as like a discomfort? Because that's another thing that you can sort of like move into. That whole like your dopamine detox, all of that sort of business.
See, mate, I love all that.
Because that's what I mean. Like that idea of being like I remember we went David Lloyd. This guy, yeah. There's a cold shower there, isn't there?
Yeah.
I'm not bantering. Every time we walk past,
I'm
I've got to go in it. I've got to go in it.
It's,
Like, I've got to-
Yeah.
It's one of those things, yeah, that I get myself in my own
Little zoom in on that.
sort of like headspace where once it's in my head, I walk past that cold shower. There is just some sort of buzz that I get off it that is just like it's
What is it,
unbeatable.
though?
I don't know
Is
what
it,
it is.
is it like that? Is it like that overriding that feeling of that like
It's
bitch
just
Doing
voice in
something
your head?
that you don't want to do, but you do it and you feel better
I
after.
pro- I pro-
But like what every time?
Yeah, that's
like
like walking past
the
it every time is a bit mad.
The sixth time round, you've
Mate,
got
I
to be
love
like,
the
okay,
cold showers.
okay.
Yeah, I love it, though.
Mate,
I
I do
can't
it every
beat it.
morning, every single morning.
it's
but
cute.
if I walk past the David Lloyd cold shower, I don't feel like I've got to dive into it.
there's just certain
Post
moments.
sauna,
Mate,
cold shower makes sense.
I'm a bit of a weirdo with it, but I absolutely love it. Like there was this time I was at the gym the other day, and it was absolutely like hailing down with rain, and there was just this urge that I couldn't get out of me that I wanted to go out in the outside pool and just embrace the rain.
I hear
it
that.
felt
I hear
amazing.
That. I hear that
because I didn't want to do it. I was freezing. It felt unreal.
The other day when so obviously the motor's in for the MOT.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nervy
yeah.
times.
Well, it's beyond the nervy times. This year failed.
Yeah.
But, we'll move on.
the
From
thing
that.
is going down the drain.
Yeah, the dinger's on the way out. Struggling with the assets, not liabilities at the moment. That's really playing on my mind.
It's all
But
about assets and life.
what I was going to say was it's the idea of my gym. Like I messaged you. I was like, well, before I go to work, I've got to like go gym because consistency, whatever you want to go down, mental health. And I'm like, well, I ain't got a car. I can't drive it. So like, I'm just gonna have to run. So then you got to run to the gym. But
Did you do it?
Yeah, started work
course
at
you
like
did.
started work.
You wouldn't tell the story otherwise, would you?
This is what we were saying though.
You wouldn't be telling it otherwise.
Yeah, but this is the thing because it's like, is there an element? And I was having a chat with my roommate about this. It's like, is it? There's sort of two diversions that you can go down here. Following on from what you said to do with the whole, I get a buzz off it. Like the idea of knowing that I've got that challenge, and it's like, you can
Feels
sort
so
of
much
rely
better.
on yourself. You know that you've got it in you to
Yeah.
be like, yeah, I can. Do you know what I mean? If times get tough, like I've done that. I've been there,
Yeah.
done that. Like
Mm.
it's minor. But off the flip side of that, this whole like hustle porn thing, it's like, do you feel like it's cool to be like, oh, I'm working, I'm a dog, like I've been grinding, hustling.
In today's
like,
day and age, it's definitely cool to put on your Instagram that you're getting up at 5, cold shower.
I've definitely
Work
seen a
what
few of them on
I was gonna
some.
say, I don't know why he's looking at me.
It's on in the group chat every single day.
Yeah,
Mate,
well, this
Telling
guy.
me that
this-
I'm getting up late because I'm up at half
Mate,
six.
right,
mate,
right.
he
He
gets
does-
up at 2 p.m.
yeah, he gets. No,
Wow.
it's 12. Give him.
He doesn't.
It's
He doesn't.
12.
I get bantered a lot because I like to have my 8 hours sleep.
No, I get
and
my
just
hours.
because I'm not
good, it's good.
It's good.
I'm not
But
hustling
there's someone
on
doing
5
better.
hours
No.
sleep
How
and
does that sit
crashing
with
by
you?
a Wednesday.
Mate, I don't crash.
You crash. You rely
Mate.
literally
Whoa,
on
here we go.
the way here.
he gets
On the way here,
so
we're
touchy
saying,
with
oh,
it. So touchy.
haven't had my coffee. Haven't had my coffee.
Yeah, no,
I can't operate.
Mate, I need my
if
coffee.
you had 8 hours sleep, got about 4 litres of water in, you'd be able to operate.
I went to bed at 9 p.m. last night. I've had well over 8 hours sleep.
Wouldn't be able to
And you
tell. You were
still-
cranky this morning, weren't you?
Still rattling on
Still
the train.
absolute-
Like,
yeah.
No, you just
shaking.
mate. I need that morning coffee. If you haven't had the morning coffee in the group chat, you're biting to every little thing.
Oh,
we're
yeah,
saying.
this-
No,
this-
it's
Mate, we're running out of
Oi,
fishing
last-
rods.
last week
We're
I
running out of
did a
fishing rods.
Big few chomps.
It's because I'm hungry on
Okay,
2,000 calories a day on a mini cut. That's
Really?
why.
On a mini
yeah,
cut?
mini cut.
How do you feel like that? Like works in with your health? Is it in like
couldn't
say,
do
like,
it.
up and down?
Yeah.
Like the idea, because you hear like bodybuilders, it's obviously not good. Like
Yeah, of
the way that they do things, it's not good for what your health, your
health,
long term,
like,
your
no.
testosterone levels, all that squit. But like that whole and your relationship with food as well. That's something that I'm kind of interested.
Yeah.
Because I obviously with like football and then gym, like I can get away with it, like calories, all of that.
Yeah.
And it's like I can sort of eat as I please. I know I'm sort of lean bulking, like is what it is. I've never counted calories a day in my life.
Should try it.
I've weighed out my porridge one time, but that was only so I know that I'm not putting too much milk in. But like I just I've gone so off tangent there.
No, I
by
like
the
it.
way.
Keep it
But
going.
no.
We're in
He
it.
loves it. There's a
We're on
fitness
it.
question
Yeah,
coming.
yeah.
Love it.
Bear with.
We're in here.
So then it's a case of like, how do you feel that like long term, that like up and down, the bulk, the lean, then your mental health off like bulking, your relationship with food, like you can't go out monitoring like say for instance, be honest, right? You have an Americano.
Yeah.
We often talk about it. You're like, cows on that, extra milk. Like,
Yeah, no, it's taste, but it's also initially it was when I made the decision
put some
ages ago when I started having coffee to have no milk was a calories decision and to just keep me in that faster state. But it's funny you talk about relationships with food. I think that's a massive one because it's easy to, when you're tracking calories every single day, to be thinking, oh, can I eat that? Too many calories. But I think it's making that informed decision. When you go out to eat and you see the calories on the menu now, you can make an informed decision. It's like when you go out for food, you go out for steak, T-bone steak, 45 quid, sirloin,
Ribeye.
20 quid. Ribeye, yeah. But my point is...
Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Tomahawk. That's the one.
Tomahawk, yeah. That's it. Tomahawk, 45 quid. Ribeye, sirloin, 20 quid. You can make an informed decision on what you can afford to buy. But like with calories, you can make an informed decision as how much you can have to stay in that condition you want.
Playing devil's advocate, when does it get to a point where it's just like it's a bit too much doing that? Like it's like you want to just go out, let's say go out for some food with your missus, and I don't want to be worrying about that. When does it get to a point where you get too obsessed with these calories and you actually start to not enjoy the food? And
I love food though. I'll always enjoy it.
One thing though, on that dopamine detox thing, like the longevity, say for instance, like if you're just chowing away on burgers and steaks and sweets and all of that, it's like it's not going to be the same. Following on from what you said at the beginning, that whole thing of like discipline, rah rah rah. Like come the day when you chow down, you're out with your missus and you have that big old burger.
You go out for food weekly.
But no, hear me out. So like that's what I'm saying. Like at the end of the week, all week you haven't let yourself do that. As in you've been counting, you've been on it, you've been sharp, you've been drinking your crude oil instead of your nice milky coffee. And then and then come that Saturday or Sunday, you then have that big old burger that's juicy. You've been looking forward to it all week.
No, but that's the thing. It's not the case of...
I'm talking in a good way here.
Yeah, but it's not the case of restricting yourself Monday to Saturday so you can overindulge on a Sunday. It's having the little bits in moderation Monday to Saturday. When a Sunday comes and you go out for that meal, it's not like, oh, I'm craving that meal.
No, but what I'm saying is like... So you haven't had it. You've longed off. It's like dopamine detox. Like what is it? Delayed. Well, I don't know.
Satisfaction of the meal or whatever.
Yeah, but like you've delayed it, and then you finally got your chops around it, and then you're like, bam. And it's so much. It's probably like 10 times better, and that's where like that conversation, your relationship with food, it's like interesting because you sort of kill yourself in the sense that. If you were just chomping away as and when you please, and it's sort of, I feel like it's everything. If you just do what you want when you want.
I was going to say, this concept can be taken for so many things other than just food.
But like, if you overeat every single day, or like, say you were trying to stay in shape and lose weight potentially, and you just ate normal Monday to Saturday and then overindulge Sunday, you're never going to do it because that Sunday just tips you over into that surplus, right? Yeah. Whereas if I'm in that deficit Monday to Saturday, Sunday comes, I'll maybe fast breakfast because I know I'm going out for dinner. You can use so many little tools to just keep you on that track throughout that week. So that Sunday comes when you do have that meal you're talking about, it hasn't tipped me over that edge.
But do you ever feel like it's a bit of a chore?
No, like, this is the thing as well. Early stages of counting calories, it's a bit of a ball ache. Getting your MyFitnessPal out, counting every single thing.
What I mean, yeah.
But then when you 2 weeks down the line, it's become second nature. I now would not cook any meal, whether I'm dieting, bulking, whatever, without tracking and counting my calories and weighing it out.
But when
you try telling you cook pasta,
yeah.
How many times have you cooked far too much pasta?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where if you weighed it out anyway, you're going to just cook the right amount for that meal.
But time is money. No,
that 30 seconds I could be making money.
Like what point? They say with like business journey, like. You should never have that end goal because then when you reach it, you're going to be disappointed. With your food and your body as a whole, obviously your body is your business ultimately.
Yeah.
What point, like what are you striving for? So you do all of this food, this preparation, but like what is it? Is the end result? Is it looking in the mirror? What is it? Looking in the mirror, do you feel great? Is it worth it? Do you know what I'm saying?
There's no end goal because you're always just trying to be better than yesterday.
Sure, but what is the sort of the pushback? What do you get back off it? Does it genuinely make you feel good at the end?
Yeah,
of the week?
100% feeling good in myself that I've stuck to my diet throughout the week, knowing I'm working towards like that longer term goal of having like an aesthetic physique that I'm really, really proud of, and knowing that every day counts. Because like if you have one day off, that's way too much. That whole week's ruined. Yeah. So every day counts, and it's just working towards that longer term vision. As long as I'm doing that, then I'm pretty happy.
Definitely. No, I think that's a topic in itself, though, isn't it? Like their end goal, because I always try not to think about the end goal.
What is your end goal? Have
Is there
Yeah,
such
you
thing?
just-
though?
Is there such thing?
By the way, I've just got a real bad anxiety. The camera's not recording. It is, but I just feel like I need to check it.
Are they both?
Go
Oh,
check
yeah,
it.
Yeah, double check. Wreck. Look at that. This is
Perfect.
his job, by the way.
Yeah.
We can go back to two things here. We go back to the fact that Murph's now helping me out with my content. We go back to the first shoot we did.
Way back at Fully Pumped in
He
Norwich.
pumped in Norwich
So this
probably about a
is-
month ago. He recorded the first sort of 5 clips in slow motion.
Look, it happens to the best of us because hear me out, right? Hear me out.
This
There
stuff-
is.
We're learning. We're learning. You got to, and this is the thing. Like that was the first time I've been
Let's
put
hope
in
this
that
isn't in
environment.
slow motion. You imagine how long this podcast would be.
If that's his
Yeah.
fault.
Yeah.
Cashing in, you got the receipt, and you. Yeah, no. There's an element of it, and I'll say something on this as well. Like sort of mentally, how you can keep up with it, if that makes sense. Like looking at it in a positive way. But that whole thing is like, and especially working with friends, because when you're starting something, you have to kind of use your circle, your friends, your family.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, you know someone who knows someone that owns a business, or if you're creating a service, trying to add value for someone, then you're getting paid in return, side hustle, job, agency, whatever. There's an element of, especially when it's family and friends, you kind of feel that added pressure. So like
100%.
being transparent with it, like, and we had that conversation. I was like, yeah, there's an element of like, if I don't do something here, and say for instance, we've been there.
When we've worked together,
Yeah.
there's been
Well, I
that.
hated working with him when he was on a program. I hate working with friends.
No, it is.
It's hard.
It's tough because I do agree. Like, there's, I've got friends that are now clients of mine, and you feel that extra pressure to perform.
Yeah, I'll be totally transparent. Like when we were working together, it was like a paid ads role, and we were working together, and it was sort of on the side. Time wise, I was like struggling, and we've got that relationship where we can have them open conversations.
Yeah, there was a
but-
couple of times where we did have to, didn't we?
Yeah,
Where we had
and,
those.
and it was the element of hands up. I feel like I was like not providing the necessary service for like to. It's the idea of I can call him up and him be happy. Like I call him up and him be like buzzing off what I'm doing, and like I felt a little bit like because the time that I was putting into it, I just couldn't, and like this, that, and the other. And we had to have honest conversations, and luckily, like our like friendship is sort of relationship is like firm enough where we can do that. Thankfully,
No punches thrown.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
not yet.
Well,
Not yet.
Not yet.
He
not
He was
yet.
lucky to be.
There's a reason Knightsy's in the middle. Do you know what I mean? But like segueing from that, it's the element of like when you're sort of starting your thing, providing a service, it's got to be good. It has to be
Five
good
star
because,
status.
but it's,
So important.
But it's not even from like a cliche point of view. Just from like enjoying and like actually doing it. Like if I'm sending you a video and it's bad, as mates, you've got to tell me. Sorry,
and then you've got to have
sorry,
that
mate.
feeling of that
And
was
I've
my
got to have
work to
been
my
like,
mate. I've let
yeah.
him down.
And that's what I mean. Like
yeah.
I've messaged you and had that. That still chews on me. That
Yeah.
time that we worked together.
Yeah, it's
And
fine. Just
like-
do loads of work for free. You'll make it up to me. You'll make it up to me.
yeah. Well, this is the thing. It's like, but sort of full circle that conversation when we were talking about learning at the start, making the mistakes. We had that experience. Luckily, due to our relationship, we carried on. It was good. It's fine. I've learnt my lesson. So when I'm working with Knightsy, sorry, I guess you were the test dummy in this.
Yeah.
But Knightsy's
fella.
not.
Now I'm
really
getting
good,
the pro deal. Right?
but it's one of them ones where I'm like, look, I don't want to be in that situation again. I don't want to have to ring up my mate and be like, oh yeah, it's on the route, like it's this, that, and the other. I'm in an R, I want it to be solid. I want it to be, yes, mate, that's sick. Like,
Yeah, to be fair, he has smashed it.
No, yeah.
appreciate
I do think.
I was going to go handshake with the mics.
Yeah, in a way, we'll go spud.
I do think as well though, when people are trying to start any like certainly the agency space for us, it's quite a low entry business model. But so many people and loads of gurus out there will talk about it as well. And sales and outreach and all that side of things is so important. But actually, if you start giving a great service to one or two clients, your clients then become your salespeople.
100%.
Referrals, and there's so much more joy out of giving a fantastic service and a client saying, you know what, mate, you went above and beyond for me.
Yeah.
That feeling is actually
Like,
what I
honestly,
enjoy most about
the amount
business.
of calls like with my work in that I've had, that when people are like, mate, like you're gonna have to turn the ads off. Like I
Yeah.
can't deal with it. Like leads,
great
like,
feeling.
All of this, and he's like, he's saying about how he's gone on holiday. He's saying about how he's now been able to employ people and he can now spend time with kids and that. And I'm like, from running paid ads, it's mad, but it all comes down to just giving like a good, solid service. And like Hormozy's the man when it comes to that. It's the idea of like you just refine every single step and don't scale it and don't put your like shit product in front of a load of people. make sure it's dialed in, it's water sealed, it's good, and then when you like start scaling it, and sort of I see like Leadify, for example, like for me that is a business model that it just works so well, and it's like a guaranteed result, if you like.
You get like that sense of satisfaction. You go home from work and you feel so happy with what you've done in that day.
It depends. It's again with the like service based, especially in marketing's not guaranteed. So it's like I could run ads, but I can't, at the end of the day, I can't promise you someone's going to turn into a lead or purchase. So you do have to have them odd conversations where it's like, oh, this, that and the other, and depending on that day how many I have. Or
yeah, I think with the industry I'm in, working one-to-one with people, you get that satisfaction there. Because I've built that relationship.
It's personal as well, isn't it?
So
someone's
personal.
health, like confidence.
6-8 months down the line, I get my clients. They say to me like, "Mate, I'm going out on a date for the first time in months because I've got that confidence."
Great.
Yeah, that's an amazing feeling.
Like, I took my top off for the first time in front of people today because I was confident in my physique. And
You don't need to tell people my messages to you.
But there's, mate.
I was gonna say, you're saying this, he's going red in the face. He's like,
it wasn't him. He sacked it in after.
Here we go.
No,
go.
mate, when they send that message and they're like, mate, I took my top off for the first time in front of a group of people today. I was so confident in my physique.
That's
There's
brilliant.
no better feeling than
No,
that.
mate, that's
honestly,
brilliant.
that's made my day's work. Like,
I think as well, going back to what you were saying, Owen, it's like when like obviously there will be down days when you're trying to deliver that great service, but it's also like when you are starting out, there's so much learning to be done in those down days. Like there has been days where I'll come home from work and I'm like, oh, everything's gone wrong today. I've lost 2 clients. I was bad. I let the client down, or whatever it may be in the early stages of starting the business. And that call, like, oh, I don't want to feel like that again. Like those horrible phone calls that you sometimes have to have, they sort of scar you in such a positive way to then progress forward.
That's
gonna learn.
that is a great one. Clip that. That is a great one. Yeah,
Send that to Murph to edit
but it's
later.
the idea, and I try and stay away from the cliche things because they make my toes like rip through the bottom of my shoes.
No, but sometimes you got to go.
Not
But
to
you
represent.
like the basics. They have to like you said. It's, you learn. You make your mistakes. Fail early. Fail often. All of that sort of stuff. And it's a case of, because if I've worked with a friend, it's not gone necessarily to plan, taken from that, I've then been like, I don't want that to happen again, scarred me in a positive way. And then it's a case of, okay, now I'm working with the next person. It's almost like a fear of having them awful conversations that then drive you
you're
to
not
then
gonna
make
the
it
same
better.
mistake. You won't film in slow-mo again.
Exactly.
And it's like,
and
either.
here's the thing as well that I wanted to touch on is, regardless of what happens, 3 months, 3 years, 3 days, 3 weeks, whatever, you're going to look back and find it funny. Like at the end of the day, at the time,
100% agree.
at the time, I wanted the ground to swallow me up.
fuming because the 5 clips were probably bangers.
Yeah,
They're
they do
getting
look
a
sick
million
in
views.
slow-mo.
They're getting a
though.
million
They
views
do-
on TikTok,
they
but
do
no,
look
because
sick.
they're in
It's about the
slow-mo.
retention, isn't it?
Yeah. But this is the thing, because it's a case of, like, I've forgotten what I was going to say.
But I think when you start off your business, I feel like I get a lot of messages. How do I start off as an online coach? It's offering that service for free to friends, family, making those mistakes because you're not necessarily charging for it, so you can almost get away with it, and then getting the feedback and the results to then be able to then go and charge for it.
I think the easiest advice to give anyone that is looking to start a business or anything, everyone is so focused on that end goal. I want to make 10k a month, or I want to do X. Just focus, set the task, and then reverse it back, and just focus on the little task, daily tasks that you can do every day, and consistency will beat anything over a long period of time. If you carry on knocking on that door, then someone's going to answer, and someone's going to then give you business or whatever it may be. But it's just those little daily tasks that you can just consistently do.
What is one thing that you do every single day without fail? What's your non-negotiable?
As in a business
And as
sense, or just a
What one thing you do every single day that you won't go a day without doing?
cold shower?
Cold shower.
Really?
Mate, I've had a cold shower every single day for about a year and a half.
Question: are you out of bed? Like when you say cold shower,
Yeah,
you
here we
actually
go, 'cause there's
are
two
you
ways.
actually are you actually washing full tilt, or are you?
I bet you
shower.
hot shower first, then you're a 10-second
Yeah,
cold
look at him.
bath.
Ah,
dancing.
he's
Yeah, he is. He
Listen,
is.
listen,
He's a
listen.
fraud.
Mate,
He's
that's
a
not
fraud.
cold shower. Get
Listen,
in, turn the
That is
cold
a
tap
cold
on.
splash.
Listen,
You have a cold splash.
Listen.
You're all cozy, warm.
You had your first cold shower like a week ago. Chill out. Right,
Yeah.
right. Let me explain. So, I personally think washing needs to be under hot water to start off with.
Open up the pores, get the grit
Just
out.
think, you don't wash the dishes with cold water, do you?
I mean, you can, depends.
Yeah, but
Energy
you're a scrub.
prices are a
Yeah,
joke.
if you're not paying the bill.
Why are you calling me
Yeah.
a scrub? Why are you calling me a scrub?
But so I'll wash
You're lucky
myself
I'm
in
not
cold,
sat
and then
there.
I'll do at least a very minimum a minute under the
So you're
cold,
doing
as
a
cold as
whole
possible.
minute cold
Mate,
shower
I
after
absolutely
your
love
hot
it.
shower.
Yeah. And actually, if
Fair play, if you're doing a minute.
if you properly research it as well, the shock from the cold to the from the hot to the cold, sorry, is actually what gets you fired up for the day.
Do you do
That's why I
the
do
cold,
gyms in the morning as well, because I want to get that buzz.
do you do the cold shower for the health benefits or the mental benefits?
Oh,
What are the
pure.
health benefits?
Yeah.
There's many health benefits.
there is,
Cold water
yeah.
therapy. You're getting a nice bath after football.
Yeah, true.
Reduce the
No,
inflammation.
mine's purely
Mental,
for
mental.
oh, I'm awake.
yeah,
that
I
feeling.
think
I'll
mine's
tell you what.
that hardening process that we've spoken about before.
Mm.
Doing something every single day to build up that
Yeah.
hardening, and then you can face anything.
Mate, that's exactly why. Like, if I have a cold shower, go to the gym in the morning, like it gets to 8 a.m. and I know that I've done a gym session, I've had a cold shower, whatever it may
I
be.
just woke up.
Mate, no,
Joking,
you're
that's
still
the
asleep. You're still asleep. You're
So
still asleep.
half six,
But-
alarm goes. We're up. Cold shower from the dot, mate. None of this warm stuff.
all right. If you say so. Yeah.
Wait,
No, but like real talk, if you do that, or do something uncomfortable in the morning, I genuinely do feel I will sit at my desk. If anything goes wrong today, I could have the worst day ever. At least I've done that. At least I've done that one thing,
100%.
made me feel a little bit comfortable. I can at least tick the day off.
And we have
Well,
that conversation. Like the ideal scenario, and who is it who says win your morning? Some Don says
someone.
Well,
yeah.
Hormozy says that. Like,
Does
does
he?
boring work.
that. But
4
like
a.m.
it's the idea of like there's two things here. So say for instance the ideal scene in life for me, Marbella.
Here we go.
We're waking up 5:30, sun's rising, setting the scene, gentle breeze.
Is there?
I can,
What month are we
I
in?
can almost
A little
feel
bit
it.
frosty, so it's like you're in Marbella, you want to go shorts, but you know in about half an hour to an hour it's going to get hot. So you're gonna have to just firm the little light breeze for a little bit. Go for a morning run, 5:30, first thing out the door, bam, down by the harbour, yachts, cars,
Just to
people.
sleep, you?
Yeah.
No,
like-
I'm doing it because I've actually done that. So.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Drop that in there.
Then hang on. When we going after the run though?
So no, hear me out. So we're not finished yet. We're doing the run. We're back in. Probably a little. Well, it depends. I'd say 5k. So sub 20 for me. 25 minutes plus for long
Long.
legs over here.
Yeah.
And then and then after that we're going coffee at ground. That's the one.
Beautiful
At ground.
place. I've never seen anything like it.
And
The
this-
best coffee shop.
And this is what I'm
Ever.
saying. And it's the idea of you then do that. And you stack all these little wins
When
up.
are you starting work?
Huh?
When are you starting work
Where-
after
where's-
this
where's the dip in the
routine?
sea?
Yeah,
There's a
mate.
dip in the sea, surely. Post
You reckon?
5k. Dip
But
in the
no,
sea.
no, I was gonna go sauna, cold plunge. Is that not on
Sauna
the cards?
post 5k.
Yeah,
Sweating out.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
alright
about
for you,
that.
innit?
it is what it is.
I'd
Get
never
all
do
the gun
5K
count.
anyway.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's one of them ones like that whole thing because I'll hold my hands up. The last like 2-3 months, I've been sort of off it. I've been off it. Like I've been in and out of the gym. Haven't really been.
Slacking.
Look, let's be honest. We all do it at some point.
Oh, 100%.
I'm just man enough to admit it.
Speak for yourself. mate.
Just some more than others.
But this is the thing, and,
No, no,
and,
it's-
it-
you are-
and you
you are
feel
right.
soft. Like you just, I've felt so like soft recently.
How do you
like
get yourself back into that?
it's 10 times worse than doing it. It's in like getting back into it. It's so much worse than do it. So like say for instance, the alarm goes off when you're getting up 5:30, bam, 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 just riding it out like limited sleep and that. Why are you looking at me like that?
5:30 early doors.
5:30. Do you even know what that means? 5:30.
Only 5:30 was probably the last time I got up. Then was for a flight, airport. You know, the early door ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the difference in it. But anyway, yeah, you start.
Hard to get up in silk pyjamas.
Getting back into
I want my
that.
8 hours, man. I just want my 8 hours.
Getting back into that, it's then a case of like it's so grim, like getting up and you're out of sync and all of this. But then you start doing them things and you question it. Why am I doing this? No one's watching. No one's doing this. But you start stacking it, getting back in the routine, and then you feel like you can depend on yourself. You like mentally, you just feel better.
You were saying no one's watching, correct? But then if you know that if you then give up or you do something half-hearted, like if you said I'm going to go for a 5k, but you get to 2 and you think no one's watching, I could stop this run now.
There's so much buzz.
But
completing it,
if
though.
you said I could stop this run now and no one will know, but you know you've that's an L inside yourself, and then if they add up, you can give up on anything.
I feel like it's big on the whole how you see yourself. Like say for instance, like if you know that you've pied that off, you're meant to do that, you only half-assed it. When you then, look at yourself in the mirror, it's then a case of like, well, you're not what you say you are, if that makes sense.
It makes the quitting process
Because
easy though.
for me, and there's an element of this, like a lot of my friends, like they're some of the like lads that I know, they'll tell you they are the best thing since sliced bread, like in full stop, like regardless of what they've actually been up to, they'll vocalize it. I don't know mentally what they're like, but for me, I need to see it. I need to, if I want to tell you I'm like, you know, I've been working hard or whatever, say pre-season and whatnot, I've been working hard. I need to have known that I've been doing 5K.
So it
been
feels
doing
awful
gyms.
saying
If not, I'm like, I can't get it out.
You can't say it with conviction.
It goes back to what we've said this before. It's like you know, when you go back to what you were saying about when I walked past that cold shower, and but that's because it's like being a man of your own word. And sometimes I'll get the thought, and we've spoke about it, like, oh, why have I had that thought? Now I've got to go do it.
It's almost like you've clocked it. And you're like,
now I've got to.
Why did I look at it?
I think that's so positive though, because the moment that you stop
to
that,
a point,
to a certain point, but the moment that you stop that and your word doesn't hold enough weight for you to actually complete something. So, for example, you mentioned you get 2K out of the 5K. And if your word saying that you did 5K at the start of that run doesn't hold any weight, then you're just going to quit. But if that holds so much weight on your own shoulders, then of course you're always going to complete it.
And there's definitely value in that, like the idea of being a man of your word, if you like. Like if you say things, there's nothing worse. Like we all know someone that's like, we're gonna do this, or we'll meet at this point.
It's like we've been planning to do this podcast for 3 months.
But it's the idea of, you know, someone that keeps just constantly bailing. It gets to the point you say something, you're like, yeah, whatever, mate. And I feel like it's that idea, that whole concept of, if I just constantly bailed, if I was like, we'll meet at this time, it gets to the point when you're like, it gets to the point, we'll carry on. It gets to the point where we'll be like, you throw me off here. I was late one time. Traffic.
The first paid shoot that we did, 35 minutes late.
Whoa,
35 minutes late.
He's had an outs. He's had a stinker.
I have, but this is the thing. I take it on the chin. I take full accountability on my party, but the finger is so far my way. It's almost too.
Don't point fingers, point thumbs. Gary V special.
Point thumbs?
Don't point. Yes, you have.
Where's that come from?
Don't point fingers, point thumbs. Point at yourself.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Get that. Well, I feel like we're getting away from the whole concept of like that being a man of your word, talking, knowing that you can rely on yourself. So like that concept of me being like, say for instance, I'm gonna be, if I was constantly late, which I'm not, it's a case of you can depend on me to be at that time if I'm constantly showing it. But if I'm constantly late, you know that I'm going to be late. So you're just like, whatever. So if I'm like, I'm going to go to the gym in the morning, that second voice, that bitch voice, if you like, it's like, no, you're not.
Do you
write yourself a list of things to do the next day?
Nah.
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah, well, from a business perspective, I'll always, if I don't have a to-do list, I feel so off task. It's literally been, I'm not a very organised person in general, as you guys know, but I have to have that.
Late.
He's late.
Later than you?
Yeah, later.
I am.
How's that possible?
Yeah, I'm not very good with
timing.
With timings. Completely thrown me off what I was saying. To-do list. Yeah, if I don't have that to-do list the next day, I'm all over the shot. I feel like there's nothing better than getting to your desk. And even though the whole dopamine rush that I get, I know little things, but like ticking off,
it's
like,
different.
Like I can remember, like it was a couple months back, but I was so busy and I had like 10 tasks I needed to do, and I did them from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. before anyone had started, and just that rush of feeling like, I'm now free for the day to actually do the tasks that are going to move the business forward.
Do you complete all the tasks every day, or do some not
no,
get done?
see,
that's when they carry over and then they add up.
There's always that one task, and I'm so bad at doing this that I'm always like, it isn't urgent, but it needs to be done. And all of a sudden, it's 2 weeks in, and it's still there from the Monday 2 weeks ago. And that's what I really, really struggle with. But I think as a business grows, that's when you start to hire to delegate those tasks that
100%.
that you aren't necessarily best at.
But that's the thing, because it sort of relates to like efficiency, your focus, and that ties back into that whole generation of TikTok, short attention span, like the ability to like zone in on something. Because say for instance, you sat there, you got your phones there, you got your computer there, you got 2 screens in front of you. That one goes ping, that one goes ping, these 2 ring. Like it's just then a case of like, where am I at? And just being able to just be like, okay, like you said, delegate the tasks to the importance of each one, and just be like, everything else does not matter. I'm not taking any calls, I'm not doing anything. That task gets done, done, out the way.
You should put a time frame on it. 100%.
It can be tough though, because you have to be really specific with your tasks.
And-
Like say if it was like launch a campaign, there's a
Yeah.
lot of spin-offs to that. So then you have to then separate and the time that it takes to then do all of that.
I found something that worked really well for me. It's so simple, but putting my phone downstairs. Yeah, so obviously I work upstairs. Just putting my phone downstairs in a place where it's actually a lot of effort to go and get it. And I think we've spoke about this before, but there's little things like even get like you can be in your what do they call it, like focus zone, flow state. And I could be in such a flow state, and I could be like an hour, and I'm literally so focused. Something as simple as getting up and going to the toilet can completely like
Throw you off,
can pause that flow state, and then I was reading about it. It takes like 20 minutes to then get back into that complete flow state of like pure concentration. But you can get so much done if you can stay in that flow state for as long as possible.
Would you supplement something if it could put you in that flow state more often?
What do you mean?
Because you're one for supplementing quite a lot, aren't you?
I would test a supplement that could do that. Definitely.
There's modafinil, isn't there?
Is there?
There's that sort of. I don't know what it's used for. I think it's mainly for like ADHD or something like that. But
I've got definitely ADHD.
Thing.
So what?
100%. I'm certain I've got
It can just put
ADHD.
you in that focus. You literally don't think about anything other than work for the period of time that it's lasting.
So what are your thoughts like
some of
on what are your thoughts then on like supplementation, like say microdosing, like people are doing psilocybin, stuff like that, and again like you've got like your natural ones like ashwagandha and stuff, like all of these different things, and I feel like there's an element of it can't completely change. Like there's that Space Goods is another one that's sort of I've seen flying around, and it's meant to be sort of like the crossover between caffeine and then you've obviously got like obviously you were at uni, you probably saw a lot of what's it called, what's the drug, like the thing that makes you concentrate, like
Modafinil?
No. What's it called? The one that is literally like you can take it and you just zone in.
That's modafinil.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is there another name for it?
Maybe. I don't know what the long name is. That's the short name for it. That's modafinil. That was like, it's the study drug.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you take it and then for like a solid like 6 hours, you're thinking about nothing but
Have
work.
you tried it?
I did it in my third year at uni because I was like having to revise for a ton of exams. And then, mate, honestly, you don't think about anything other than the work.
Was it legal?
Yeah.
How much?
Whether it's legal to sell it.
No, that sounds.
Yeah, but
That sounds amazing.
It does. That sounds unreal.
It's the problem though. Just the society we're in. People will think, right, I need that first.
So
before.
get quick, like get rich quick type
Yeah,
thing,
but
like a
people-
hack.
You can
People will
just hack your way
supplement
into it.
before they start trying to do everything they need to do with basics.
Yeah,
Sleep,
yeah.
hydration, nutrition, but they'll try and supplement before that. Well, get those basics nailed on first, then you can look at supplements. Like there's people who want pre-workout before the gym, and then they're running off 5 hours sleep, and they'll be wanting pre-workout. Well, how about you get 8 hours first, and you might not need the pre-workout.
I think this
Occasionally for a heavy leg session.
people do that with everything, though, don't
Can
they?
tell,
If
yeah.
if anyone can try and hack or shorten time, and that's where loads of great products come in place. Not like supplements, but if you look at any product, let's say an ecom product, the ones that sell that actually solve a problem, and most of the problems that people and products and businesses solve, even our service, we're solving a problem to get them more leads, to get them better content. You're solving a problem to get them, in better shape. Any good product is purely off solving a problem, and most of the time it's time as well.
Yeah,
People
that's the
love
one.
like
If I said, oh, you could gain 10 kilograms of muscle and get a six pack in 4 hours,
yeah.
you'd pay quite a lot for that.
Yeah, mate, but sign me up.
It's
No,
pay-
but they do. That is,
people just want that quick fix. It's the society.
that's where
isn't it?
the great products come. Like, for example, that I've done a bit of a bit of a nerd when it comes to like certain ecom products and things like that. There was
Couldn't tell.
that tap that does like instant hot
water.
water.
Shout out Wilco.
And just
Oh, okay.
just the fact that they could do that, like there's just hacking into the whole, like, realistically a kettle takes what, a minute to boil to get
2
hot water.
Do you feel like, because the thing is, what I was going to say, when I said Netflix and you looked at me funny,
Yeah.
it was the idea of Netflix put Blockbuster out of business.
I've seen this.
Yeah, because it's, shout out Hormozy. This isn't
Logan
off
Paul
my
said
dome,
this as
like
well.
my studies. This is just, when I'm down the rabbit hole. It's the idea of like Netflix have removed you've got to go to your car, drive to
Spotify did it as
Blockbusters.
well.
Yeah, it's the idea of you've got to do all these little tasks, or you sat on your sofa, boom, it's there in
Amazon,
front of
2
you.
clicks and the product.
Yeah,
the-
and that's what
at your
made
door next
Amazon.
day.
Like, you can, it's just crazy. You can literally click one button on Amazon and it's there next
Yeah.
day. And then now
Sometimes
looking
the same
at
day, by
yeah.
the way, which is quite
But
frightening.
here's
They're
a
looking at
question
getting
for
drones
it
as well,
though.
aren't they?
Here's a question
Rocket
for you.
care
Like,
package.
how far
does it go?
Do you want it to go? Because this is the thing, like where we're saying about like, you know, your Amazons, you know, becomes easy and it's like good and
Metaverse
that.
as well.
But like, at what point do you? Because cycling back to that thing we were saying about like, you know, the challenge, you stack your tasks, you didn't want to do that, you did that. It's almost like going further and further and closer to the idea of you're just going to be like just doing nothing. It's all accessible.
Fully
You want
automated.
food,
It's
like
no
you just
fun
press
that
the
way
button,
either.
it's there. You do this,
Was
you
it
do that.
Amazon have got like stores where you don't have to pay like a checkout? You just pick items up, and then as
Yeah,
you walk
and
out the door, it charges your
Yeah, I think.
account or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, apparently, like, the weight of it.
Yeah, you sign up via Amazon Prime. You put your, I think this is how it works. You put like
Tesco's
your
do
bank account details in. You just go, and then they track every like piece of food, whatever, and then they'll just charge your card.
Tesco's do that. They weight the thingies, and then the cameras pick up what you have in your basket. But this is what I'm saying. This is where I'm like, okay, draw the line, man. Because like, why have you not got to go to the cashier? And I'm
It's
understanding.
just time again.
I'm understanding.
Yeah,
there's,
it's
a,
all
there's,
time
a, there's a
hacking.
gap in the market where people. That is what business is. You find a problem, you solve
Yeah.
it. That is literally what it is. So it's like you look at, okay, and going back to that, you want to have a good service. You want to be the best, like, so you can confidently be like, okay, this is it. So if you're doing ads, the whole onboarding process, how can that be dialed in? I don't know. If you're doing your service of check-ins, how can that be dialed in? The questions, X, Y, Z. But like when it's like Tesco's and that, they're taking it so far.
Well, it's like
Like-
the fact of you know, everyone thinks that the metaverse is in 10 years' time. Like we're going to be doing shopping with a headset on and like things like that. Is
I don't
just-
like that.
I hate
I don't.
that.
The thought of
That's
that scares
scary.
me.
Yeah.
And the
I
fact
don't
that
like that.
our kids could potentially like, we're going to be looking at them with headsets on and be like, how do you use this? Like we are with the iPhone.
I've got something question though. How weird is it that your like kids and that are going to be able to look at videos of you like, hey, you're at me, like just like this, like
Yeah.
your kid is going to be able
They'll
to
watch
watch
this
like,
back.
Like
your
cringing.
yeah, cringing. Watch like a young Nightsy just like chopping it up on a podcast.
Yeah.
Whereas like, can you imagine like if you could imagine
but,
imagine
like-
you could watch your like
Yeah, but
dad
my
right
dad,
Yeah,
now
I'd be
my
buzzing.
back when
He'll
he
get the
was 21.
scrapbook out of his like
But that's what I'm
cricket
saying.
scores or his rugby scores, and he'll go, look at this, look
I'd be
when I
like-
scored 100.
Yeah.
Da-da-da. Whereas I'll be going, log onto that YouTube channel and have a look at everything
But
like
for all we know, like this podcast could be the version of the scrapbook in X
Yeah.
amount of
100%.
years.
It will
This
be
could
though. That's just the
like,
way it goes.
oh my, they could be like, oh, that's such bad quality, and we're filming in 4K. Like, but to them that could be.
Imagine that 4K being
Holographic.
bad quality.
Yeah,
Well, they're doing
It's,
it.
it's the
There's, like,
trajectory that we're
6K
traveling
stuff
at
like that.
with technology, the rapid sort of
it's scary.
how fast
I'm
technology's
happy with it
growing.
all staying at how it is right now.
Mm.
I think we've reached a
It
nice
won't
point.
though, will it?
I'm gonna have to just
NFC
say,
is the next one.
but yeah, we was on the topic of like how far it's going with technology. Because to
Scary
me,
far.
it's like, and then it cycles into that conversation about the algorithm, and to me, it's like whoa, and you could sort of move into that social media. Should we mention, you know, big top G?
Don't say the name. Don't say the name.
Don't say the name.
You can't
Get
get
banned.
cancelled.
We want to earn a couple of pennies out of this.
Yeah.
Point.
But
Don't
yeah,
get
what are
banned
your
straight away.
thoughts on, say, for instance, I feel like Elon Musk's Twitter,
That's good.
and then freedom of speech
Great topic.
alongside of that.
Mm.
Great topic.
Elon Musk. My first instinct is that Twitter's about to blow up. For like in a very positive way. There's no way that he's going to. I feel like Twitter has been in its own lane in certain elements, and like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram have all followed the same path. And I feel like now Elon Musk is going to try and take it in a completely different direction to then all of a sudden he will now be the trendsetter. Like how Instagram copied TikTok, I think the platform itself is going to evolve into a way that all these other platforms then try and follow suit as well. He's going to find a new little area to try and grab attention.
He is an operator, isn't he?
But
Very
this is
good
the
one.
thing.
But it's the free speech sort of thing that you mentioned. I don't think it's right that you can just get like
Platform.
Yeah.
completely for just like voicing an opinion. I think it's up to you as the individual to think whether that opinion's right or wrong. Take it on your decide that yourself. But
Can
it's
you
just
resonate
scary?
with it, though?
It's a scary world that we're living in. I remember I mentioned C19 on an Instagram story.
Just the fact that you say C19.
I have to
just
say
shows
it
that
because
you have to say
but
that.
that's what I don't like is that you can't touch on a particular topic or word
You
because
got shadow banned, didn't you?
I got shadow banned for putting a story up about getting whey protein through airport security. And then that has a direct
He's a
impact
criminal.
on my bottom line. Do you know what I mean?
There's footage
My-
on that, mate.
Yeah.
You're done. You've
Yeah.
admitted to it now.
My bad.
Sorry, Oscar.
Getting some My Protein.
Plug. Here comes the plug again.
Harry Kane.
Anyway,
Harry gave 10% off.
I just don't like it that you can't talk about a particular topic without worried about like your stories getting taken down, getting
But-
shadow banned, getting your account deleted.
I've got a point on this though. Can you see, because we're obviously been exposed to certain things, and I'd like to think we understand the content we consume, how that might affect us. Like even we started off talking about how that like hustle porn thing mentally, how that affects you, this, that, and the other. But 99% of people will just carry on, keep scrolling. It's just fun. It's easy. It's whatever. So like these messages and whatnot that are being portrayed through, say, the top G himself. It's like, yes, we can see it and be like, oh, that one's got some
But
weight.
his
But
audience-
that's outrageous.
I get
But
it,
his
yeah.
audience, like, and that was the thing, because Piers Morgan, I don't know if you saw that interview.
Yeah,
that was-
great watch. By
that
the
was
way.
a
Get on that.
brilliant watch.
Get on that.
Yeah.
Legend.
And he basically says to him, like, he was trying to associate, you know, why it's an issue, this, that, and the other. And the problem is, he's now like, should I say Tate or just Top G? Is it
Top
in-
G.
Don't drop the name.
Should I?
I really
Really?
think it could get taken down.
Is it that bad?
Yeah.
Mate, I don't know how it works, but they
Algorithm.
obviously see something and
Yeah, but to be fair, they still have clips of him on TikTok everywhere.
Yeah.
oh,
But anyway, he's like, what he's trying to say is at the time, his fame and whatnot, he didn't know the severity of it. But now, yes, that he's got a following, he's got an
Yeah.
audience, he's got people that look up to him. You say certain things. And do you know what? I feel like here's a good example, yeah? And this might sound outrageous, but like to a dad, what a dad is to a son, like you set the example. If you're shouting at your missus and your son sees it, that programs him in a certain way. And it's the same sort of thing with like the younger people then look at these, like, you know, the top G himself, and they get influenced by it in a certain way, because that's the issue, is the way that he talks about females.
Yeah, but it comes back full circle though with that attention span thing. We see, or these kids see 10-second
10
clips of him,
seconds,
but
yeah.
his point is that actually the clip that was taken was from a 5-minute topic or conversation where, yes, the outrageous statement from that 5-minute clip has been put onto TikTok, and that's what people see. That headline reader sort of.
Yeah, but the thing is, and again, like a little plug on Social Dilemma, it's the idea of the power of it. So say, for instance, I think Putin got done for it. That sounded so Norfolk, by the way. I think Putin got done for it a few years back, did he?
On
But,
track.
but yeah, I think he got done for it because he like dictated like political elections through algorithms on Facebook, like used Facebook market, like Facebook ads and stuff like that to promote the message.
Trump
'Cause-
did,
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say
so
Trump
did.
Do you know what it is?
Boris?
Do you know what I relate
don't think
to?
Boris
I look at it
Who
as
was
like,
the-
you know, you see them films where there's like some, like, I'm trying to think, Jurassic Park. Yeah, have you seen the most recent one?
Yeah.
No, there's that thing. Oh no, James Bond. That's it.
Very
There's that
different
thing.
films.
No. I know.
Very
no.
different.
Hear me out. It's because where they end up, you know, when he ends up in that little like biochemical like island place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm spoiling it for anyone. It was out ages ago.
Yeah,
If
that's
you
an
haven't-
old
yeah,
James. I was going to say that's an old.
Sorry to the 6 people watching.
Yeah.
Gone up
Never
to
know.
from
Never
earlier.
know.
Sorry, mum.
But this is the thing. It's like in that, like, there's that drug. There's that thing that was going to take over the world, and like all these people are going to get affected by it. And for me, that's how I see like the algorithm and stuff. It's like this thing of like this, like, not killer, but this like power. If someone gets their hands on it and uses it in a certain way, bro, it's toast. Everyone's done.
I can't remember the name of the company that actually helps with political parties and
See, but how is someone?
no,
built
there's a
business
particular
on that?
name for a company that did that. So like Donald Trump, you would be able, if you were like worried about X, you would get fed stuff.
Oh yeah.
about that,
Well, that's
but
what I mean. Yeah.
you
So
know what I
say,
mean?
say
That's
for
just an
instance-
algorithm as a whole,
Yeah,
isn't
like-
it? It's all about what you're
I can't remember
interested
the
in.
name
what
of the
you
guy.
like.
Yeah, you see
Like-
what you're interested in. So, like, say, and again, in that Social Dilemma, you see that if you're like left wing, you see everything left wing. So you're thinking, everyone's just all left wing. Everyone agrees with me. So then when you're next to the dinner and then someone's saying, nah, that's wrong, you're baffled because you're like, oh my God, everything I've been seeing is all left wing. So what are you talking about, Tony? Wind your neck.
Yeah.
And it's also like certain creators are now so smart with it. Like they can film a piece of content, let's say with Trump, let's say, or about Trump or on the topic of Trump. And as soon as Trump then starts trending, they're going to repost that piece of content. And creators have become so smart with it, which also then dictates the algorithm and what you see. It's just this massive, big hole. I was also like on that topic of going back to the top G and like creators in a whole. I think the whole creator community, like that obviously are now super famous, super celebrities, but people are so much more likely to go up to a creator and feel like they know them, ask them for a photo, than if they see a singer or a rapper, because they're like, they don't get to see that person on a personal level. I think with like the Top G, they felt like they knew him. They felt like, you know, you said he was impressionable on them. It's because this the whole YouTube, TikTok dynamic. Creators now have that relationship with their audience where they actually, their audience feels like they know them. They feel like they're friends and they've actually got that direct connection, which of course they haven't.
Yeah. What is it like being famous?
Yeah.
Don't ask me.
Huh?
No.
You're TikTok famous?
Yeah, you're saying, yeah.
What,
You know,
85k on TikTok's nothing in today's age, is it?
I was just putting that.
Everyone's watching.
Saying
Like,
something.
I love 85.
Yeah, saying something different on the train up here, but
Yeah.
you know,
Mm.
that neck is throbbing, by the way. Gotta hold it up, mate.
No, but you see people with like millions of followers, don't you? Mm. Still got 85,000 followers, but drop a video, it gets about 100 views. So
Yeah, but that's
Doesn't
just
mean much,
that's just
mate.
how it all works, isn't it? Certainly with TikTok,
It's-
the followers mean nothing.
yeah, the way it works is what's interesting. What's the
And
interest graph?
it's all. I'd say it's all just like down to marketing and then how like reactive you are. Like, say for instance, you're looking at the Top G and Jake Paul. That obviously came out the other day.
big.
And well, what are your thoughts on it, gents?
I'm gonna straight up. I know I said this during the group chat the other day. I don't think they're fighting.
Do you
I,
not?
don't, I
Yeah,
think it's a
I think they
massive
will.
marketing ploy
I think they
because there was no like little TMZ hidden camera. It was a setup, big camera like that. They squared.
yeah, but if
up.
you actually read the caption, it's
nothing.
negotiations. So
Yeah, but you
Sucked
don't
in, sucked
do
in,
that.
yeah.
Like, yeah, you're
no, mate. I
watch-
don't get me wrong. It's completely a marketing trend, but I think they are going to do, whether it's fighting. I think it will be fighting.
I put money on
Whatever it
doing
is, it's going to be something together. Which, regardless of what they do together, they're so big individually. It's going to break the internet.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
not a fight.
I
They're,
don't know, I
they're
think
releasing something. It's a business. It's a marketing ploy. They are not going to fight.
they're not going to do something like how KSI and Logan Paul did. Imagine they just bring out a business just those two. I can't see that happening.
I reckon that's more likely than them actually having a fight.
Nah,
Really?
Yeah,
nah.
No
Right,
way.
we'll clip this for when it happens and the fight doesn't happen, and we'll go, yeah, Harry, you were right.
Should we put a bet on it?
No,
I've got this forfeit. You have to.
All right, let's do a podcast forfeit.
Podcast forfeit. Yeah, you have to
What's that?
publicly.
What are you doing though? What's the?
No, the loser has to
Yeah.
publicly announce their. Well, I don't know if this is the stakes. Surely you've seen little boys make big mistakes,
No,
and I'm a little boy because I made the mistake of. Do you know what I mean?
No.
I have
Yeah.
seen some. I'll tell you what.
It's just a
You've
little
got to
public
go-
embarrassment. It's
You've got
major.
to go to. I've seen the one in America. You know, IHOP, like the pancake
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
You spend 24 hours in IHOP,
Yeah.
but for every pancake you eat, it takes an hour off. So if you eat 10 pancakes,
That's a very long forfeit.
Yeah.
you've only got to
What-
spend 14 hours in IHOP.
What about the
And you eat
loser
10
has
pancakes.
the loser has to sit there in the podcast in some sort of fancy dress outfit.
Yeah, you've got.
How am I clipping?
You've got
Nah.
to wear an accessory.
Oh no!
that-
I tell you, you've got to wear you've got to dress up as either Tate or
What? Who? What?
Sorry,
Oh.
top
Podcast gone. No, I think we'll be all right. Touch wood.
God,
Nah, we'll
the
think
fact
of
that
a
we even have
podcast.
to do that is the world's gone mad.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about today's society.
Just can't say.
Just can't say what you want. To an extent.
Well, it's all going to change with Mr. Musk and Twitter.
Yeah, have you seen now if you've got a blue tick, you've also got is it like official underneath the blue tick
You can,
as well? Because blue ticks really don't mean much, so he's now put a thing like official underneath the account to show you that it is the real person.
He's going to be. You can pay for blue ticks now though, or something like.
And how do you know that?
Yeah, have you looked into that?
all of a sudden blue tick just appears? No, it's like $8 a month or something for.
I've seen that you can, but
You
I've
found
seen
it?
people.
No,
No, I've seen
but-
people charging like 5 racks for a blue tick.
People would pay that though.
Yeah, no, but the
People would.
spin-offs. The
just say you
spin-offs.
worked inside Twitter or Instagram.
Oh, I'd sell that.
You could sell that.
100%.
Just go and pop that on someone's account
So when you see the Daily Grind, mum and dad watching at home, when you see that
with
blue,
a blue tick with 3 followers.
yeah,
with a blue
what,
tick.
Dad, what that blue tick means is right.
No, but you do see it. Like you'll see some like accounts that have got like 1,000 followers and a blue tick. Like you obviously know someone that knows someone
Yeah.
that knows someone.
What about E-Man Gadget getting his blue tick taken off?
Did he?
I rate
Yeah.
it though. He's had it lost twice because he doesn't care.
Yeah.
But for me, that man is the goat. And on that, who would you say if you
Here we
could
go.
pick? If you could have right, yeah. Oh, here's a good one.
I know.
I know exactly what you're going to ask.
What am I going to ask?
If you could have one guest on this
One
podcast,
guest on this
who would it be?
podcast, yeah.
Oh, I have a
Gary V all day long.
It would-
Really?
Gary V all day long.
But I don't understand why you would want
Straight into
Gary
the
Vee.
Hey, he's a goat.
We
He
went
is
and
the
saw
goat.
him live.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
How was it?
Oh,
Feb.
unbelievable
Was it
day. February last year or this year? No way was it.
To
this
think you
year.
were still employed at that point.
Yeah, but I was at the time of balancing both.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I went almost for the motivational push to say,
Oh,
get rid of that and go with your side hustle, make it your main hustle.
It was quite a weird dynamic when we went there because there were certain like speakers that,
Yeah.
and he was cringing so
I was
much.
cringing at times.
You can imagine me. I love all that sort of stuff. It's
they're like, give us
get
a
up and
growl.
clap your
Like,
hands.
they were like, making you stand up and shout like
Yeah, this
at the top of your voice.
So serious.
Yeah.
Hey, no, he was there like, yeah. And
I
I'm
was
like,
loving it, mate. I was loving it.
there was a guy that went round
Giving out
giving out
20s.
tennies.
I thought it was 20s.
Don't know, but we
Maybe
bought lunch
10.
with it.
Yeah. Yeah, he was just going around just like
He was like, he basically got scammed or done over by some guy back in the day.
called Carl.
You remember the name?
Mm.
And then he got the amount of money that he got scammed over. He basically still made it. So he was like, I'm gonna give that out to everyone here. So we went round just throwing tenors at people with 20 quid.
We ran
Really
after
weird.
him.
I was like, that's lunch. That's lunch. That's some clear way.
No,
But
that,
yeah, what? So you're saying Gary Vee?
100% Gary V.
Why?
Just because, mate, honestly, if you saw him live as well, like, I've watched so many of his videos, podcasts. Like when Gary speaks, you listen.
That is true.
they're-
That's true.
We
The
was
stuff that
only-
he
And
says,
it's proven.
The hour,
All
we
dates. Logan Paul
mate,
mentioned
he
that.
literally proves every like 2008. He was like predicting that
It's from the
that
future, man.
He is
I
literally like he was predicting TikTok was going to blow when it was Musically.
I'm so glad I listened to him.
And mate, he's just. I would love to pick his brain.
Thing is, next time he says something like that, you've got to be so on it because everyone else is like.
No, but he's saying it now.
Because like the TikTok thing, everyone's like, "Shut up!" Like, "Oh, what is this?"
Like, everyone dancing. Yeah.
Like, little,
But
like,
like he's saying it now with YouTube Shorts and LinkedIn,
Yeah.
and I'm still sat there not doing.
And he's
I've
also
done like
saying,
10 shorts.
He's also saying about Facebook fan pages, which I thought
Yeah.
was really,
Coming back.
really
interesting,
random.
Interesting. There's a lot. You just got to stay on the pulse for these guys. But
Who
But
are you
the-
Gary
having?
Vee, yeah, Gary Vee. That's an
I'd
interesting
have
one.
probably backed
He'll go
Gary
fitness.
as well. I'd
He'll go
have probably
fitness.
backed Gary myself,
Nah.
but you've taken him.
Yeah, you got to go somewhere
So
different.
that one's sorted. That one's sorted.
This is tough.
So Gary,
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
I'm-
I saw for
I know who
context
you're
as
gonna-
well. I'm interested to think who you think I'm gonna go for.
I feel
I know,
like
I
there's,
think he's
one or
going
two.
E-Man, I
I
think.
think you'd go E-Man.
Yeah.
yeah,
No, but I'm not saying yes, but I've got a good thing just to add context. Like Hormozy, yeah, he said this thing.
Mosey.
Yeah, no, that was where I was. gonna go. I had two.
But, hear me out. In your current situation, right?
Yeah.
Sitting down with Grant Cardone, he's not going to be able to
This is
really
my
relate
point.
value
I was
wise.
gonna
Because
say
don't
this.
get me wrong, his leverage, yeah, he's like, get in property, just go buy that complex over there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like I'm not buying a complex
Yeah.
anytime soon. Do you know what I mean?
You've got to
So
help, who can help you in this.
That's what I'm
current-
saying. So
Yeah,
say for
Gary
instance,
could.
if it's a case of yeah, but what's he gonna
Gary.
What's he gonna
You know,
tell
you can pay like
Mate,
10,
he's the
10
best
grand.
marketer
Yeah, but
in the
what's he
world.
gonna
10
say?
to
He'll
go and
tell
sit in a
you.
meeting with him.
He'll
Yeah,
tell
this
This
you.
is the other thing. He will tell you stuff that you can hear for free. I think.
Yeah,
But then at the
that's what I
same
mean.
time, you're still getting to sit down and have a chat
I'll-
and maybe make it a bit more personal.
Yeah, I would love to as well. Just quiz him about like his whole journey. Like, mate, he loves it.
But this is what I mean. I feel like you said, I don't think he'll say things that you can hear for free, and I'll walk away from it being like, yeah, I knew that, but like Gary said it, so I got to do it. Do you know what I mean? So like
But
for me, I think, I'd say Eman Gadsey. He's the most interesting bloke. Like the way that
He's a good
the
one.
way that he does things, and like, for me personally, he'll be able to provide a lot of value to me in a conversation. This whether it's about like actual agency stuff, like marketing, whether it's life. He's like a crossover of everything. Like you've now seen him, and he keeps
Yeah.
talking and referring to himself. He's now starting on the YouTube thing. He's like got one of the fastest growing
Just
YouTube.
hit a milli, didn't he?
Yeah, and like he's just popping up with Mike Thurston.
Yeah,
and you're
that's
just
a
like, and
brilliant
he's got
crossover.
Mike Thurston, Top G, like Sneeko, like and he's starting to pop up in these random areas, and I'm like, ooh, like,
Covering all bases.
Yeah.
You can just tell when he's putting the work in because like last year he was a little bit like obviously enjoying himself a little bit more, wasn't as active, and then this year he's just really,
You see the ads pop up
Yeah,
on the
he
YouTube
is
pre-roll.
really gone
And what
for
he's
it.
dropped.
what I
I don't know what.
When did you? It's that ad. When did you accept your lifestyle? Something like that. And I'm like, I didn't.
Was
I
that,
didn't.
are you a man between 18 and...
But yeah, so
Who's your
I'd
guess?
probably go Eman. Eman's mine.
I think you're going Hormozy.
I'm going Hormozy or Christian Guzman.
Christian Guzman.
Great
what a
shout.
go.
Come on, the
What a
OG of the
go.
fitness industry.
See,
but
that's-
you two could benefit massively as well,
Oh,
not
mate.
just from fitness, but from a business standpoint.
Mm.
Built Alpha Elite, built Alpha
Alpha
Land.
Land.
What? Oh,
Mate,
if I
gotta
could,
go
we've
there
got
as
to
well.
go.
Gotta
How about we
go
go
there.
Alpha and shoot some content?
Say no more, mate. I'm there.
Book me in.
If you pay for my flight.
So we've got
Yeah, no dramas.
so we've got
Business expense.
Gary V, Iman Gadzi, and who are you going
Christian
for?
Guzman.
If you had to have one, you could
We'll go.
pick one.
Oh, mate, but how have we not slid Hormozy in there?
So
No, I'm
Hormozy's
gonna
got
But
me in
I
there.
feel like
Can you? No, I'll go Guzman. I'll go
Okay.
Christian Guzman.
See, I feel like it's that conversation about
Just-
like,
I
what
just
would you
want
do if you won the lottery? And we're like, oh, I don't know, like actually having that serious conversation. But you never know.
Yeah,
I
you never know.
feel like if you slung this clip to each one of them three, there's
you
a
imagine?
chance that they'd
you
feel
imagine?
good about it and then get on it.
Very slim though.
So mum and
Slim.
dad, you've got
You
that
could
one to
probably-
look
You
forward
could probably
to.
get. You could probably get 30 seconds of Gary's time,
yeah.
and that's probably.
But
Oh, no, he
I
does
saw an
say about the
interesting
100
thing though.
podcast.
Nah,
doesn't
I
he?
saw an interesting
Look in
thing
that
though.
camera right now to your message to Gary to get him on our 100th pod.
Got no pressure.
Mr. V. Please. No, but I honestly don't know what I'd say
But
to
no,
him.
it's expensive. It'll cost them. Like Joe Rogan, I remember he was saying, who had him on their podcast? Someone had Joe Rogan on their podcast, and he was like, that cost him 50k minimum to be on my
For their
podcast.
time.
Because he was like, no, not his time. He's flown his whole team out. He's got to do this, and then he's
Wait.
at hotels, the jet, the this, the that.
We've got to have capital to be able to afford.
So if
these
you just
guys.
got a spare 50 racks laying around, we
Mate,
could just get one of these.
What about
things.
Zoom? Would you take a Zoom?
Nah, it's just not the same. I want to meet the
no,
guy.
I would.
Yeah, you
Sorry,
probably
from a
would.
selfish point
True-
of view, I'd want the value anyway.
True Geordie said that he wanted to get Mayweather on, and Mayweather said 10 grand and he'd come on. It was quite
10 grand.
for
For
Mayweather.
Mayweather.
Do you know what it
You'd-
is?
I
Guy's
thought-
clearly blown the budget.
That's what I'm
He's
thinking.
lost
I-
all the cash.
You,
Nah,
you'd,
fuck it. There's
you-
money to be made there.
yeah, he's just.
Take care of the pennies and the pounds will take care of himself.
Mate, when he's
No,
out
but you-
fighting Deji,
You'd
he's
think,
clearly scraping for a couple quid, isn't he?
yeah, you don't come out of retirement constantly.
But
Or he just loves it.
He's still always fighting, and he's training all the time. He's never not stopped training.
Mm.
It is one, but it's yeah, that value thing. Like, from a selfish point of view. But on that, if you could say this, if you could speak to your younger self,
Oh wow.
if you could speak to 15-year-old Harry Knights, who's just found out about Mike Thurston. He's watching all his videos.
Rob Lipsett.
yeah,
Mike.
Rob Lipsett, the
Have a
gang,
shout for the pod.
Louis Armstrong,
Oh, stop.
Georgie.
Legends.
Yeah, that's another one. But anyway, sorry.
There's a lot. we
Detail,
could-
yeah, there's a good list of names right there.
Let's just get it past us three first.
Yeah.
This one's got to go out.
yeah. But yeah, what would you say to your 15-year-old self?
What, like advice?
Nah, just like, yeah.
Cool. I'd say don't be afraid. Just make that decision, make that jump, go with it. Because I hummed and hard over starting my own business for far too long.
You should probably tell Owen that now.
This is a message to Owen. Yeah. If you're not getting what that is, by the way,
Yeah, that's a good little Easter egg
Yeah,
for them
yeah.
to find out.
but if you can guess what that is, props.
Just
to
give
you.
another example.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Nah, it's just got to be take that jump. Just especially at a younger age, like when you've got no sort of risks. Just before mortgages, before families, like before you have kids and whatnot. Take that risk because what you're gonna lose. You can always start up again.
And full circle, it goes back
Yeah.
into that lessons and learning thing.
Mm.
Doing it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many times you do it,
Mm-hmm.
and then it don't come around. You've got all the
Reps in it.
Yeah, it's rep.
Don't build muscle without reps.
Amen.
Repetitions over and over again.
He's going for some clips here.
I was going to say,
He's
that's
going
getting
for some
clipped.
clips here. So yeah, on the muscle fat, I'm really interested.
While we're here,
Muscle fat. What have I just said?
See
What have I just said?
come from?
he's had too many flat whites.
Muscle fat.
On that, you were going to say sorry? No,
No.
I'll stitch you up there.
No.
I feel like
I think-
I'm just gonna say, from like the standpoint of like today, getting this podcast done and actually coming out and doing it and starting this journey, I'm buzzing.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Have we even explained what the pod's about? Like what we're doing, like where we're gonna take it?
I don't think we have.
I
I
don't
feel
think we
like
have.
we're to begin with.
To the moon,
It was a little bit uptight to begin.
Yeah, it
with.
was. Mate, I'm not
Wait,
going to lie,
what
my
is the-
palms were sweating
Once the old Cup of Colombian settled in, we're
Yeah.
lovely. We've got flowing.
But to be fair, I think the first podcast we said that we wanted people to like try and get to know us a little bit better, and I think the fact that we're just having a normal chat as we would
Yeah.
if we weren't.
This is the
filming.
train. This is what the train journey would have sounded
Yeah,
like.
but we kept on
And
putting a
we
pin
kept
in
being
it.
Like, hang
Oh
on,
my
mate. No, don't talk about that. Save it.
The
Save
amount
it.
of times we saved the conversation, for
Yeah.
this, or tried to at least.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, where do you want to, honestly, if you could say, where do you want to take this? Where would you like to take it?
Me personally, I'd be like, so I've jumped in there. He put the hand towards me, so I thought
I went with you on the non-negotiables.
Yeah,
it's fine.
that's the one.
It's fine.
For me, I don't
Getting
know.
a leader vibe over
I
here.
just,
El Capitano.
yeah. I don't know. I like the idea of just chatting to people, like people
Agreed.
that, whoever, like having access, like being able to provide value. Like you look at the Nelk boys, what they're doing. Like it's mad. They're traveling around, like just bombing about.
Collaboration, crossover. What are we calling it? The daily grind with the Nelk boys. Times
Daily
the Nelk
grind.
boys
I
would
thought
be
you were giving it an irons.
Oh my god, a happy dad do coffees.
Right,
I
we
don't know.
just
Is that frat boy
snowballing.
enough for him?
Oh,
I don't
mate.
know. But
Carry on.
that for me, it's the idea of being able just to speak to a load of people, like gain value, meet people as well. Like say for instance, we've got some cool names potentially in the works,
In the pipeline.
and they might not be known by everyone, but in our world, they're people that we've looked up to, followed, like taken bits and bobs from,
Taken interest
listen
in
to
them.
their. So like again, from a selfish point of view, I'm buzzing just to like talk to those people and just be around them, interact with them. These are people that they're older than myself, and like they've had the experience, they've got their business, they've done their bit, they've got their stories, they've got their things, the value that they can give me, the like platform that they can then speak and help other people. You never know, but yeah, for me on a personal note, it's just being able to chat and being around them dons and travel as well. I feel like
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like
Take it to different
once you get to
places.
a point as well, it'd be a case of, you know, like hossing about like different places, like whether it's Marbs, like going, meeting, just throwing up a podcast set and getting it done. Like for me, imagine traveling the world, getting paid to travel the world and like just speak to people about interesting topics. Like for me, you walk away from these conversations in my brain and everything, I'm like on like a little bit of a high.
Definitely.
Yeah. Are you going to say something along the lines of the world's #1 podcast?
What?
That's
No.
what that's what I can imagine you wanted to take this.
What?
You saying, oh,
Mate,
#1 pod in the
I'm
world.
always wanting to make things as big as possible, but I would say my main takeaway on what I'm looking to achieve from sort of doing this podcast is to second what you said about like speaking with the interesting people, expanding my knowledge on certain like industries, topics, but also I think even if we got 1-2 messages of someone saying, you know what, I found that podcast really interesting, I learned something from that I think would give me enough like
Giving back.
giving back just to, because I think a lot of the time like we're young lads on some sort of business journey, some sort of entrepreneurship motivated journey, wherever that takes us, who knows. But the questions that we ask certain guests, I hope that some people watching will think, oh yeah, that's really interesting. Or so that's what I think I'll buzz off, not only just speaking with the guests, learn about them, but also if anyone else can find it even a tiny bit interesting, or learn anything from it, I think that would be pretty cool as well.
It's like Hormozy saying he wished like Warren Buffett like documented his journey. So
Oh yeah.
So the fact that we've got the likes of Hormozy, Gary Vee, and that documenting their journey in a way, it would be good that we can just give something to people who might be watching this and
Definitely.
take something away.
It's almost like it's sort of recycling their content and like things that you'd learn from them just sitting like Top G.
Yeah, I was there everything. I was like, I can't believe he's doing that.
Oh, I didn't even mean to. Just fell into it, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's just natural.
Yeah, just natural. And yeah,
Give it a flex.
but yeah, it's because at the end of the day, like anything that we say is just to follow on from what we've seen, learned, whatnot. And when I say it's like that, the Netflix example, the examples that we've spoken about, they're all from other people, and necessarily your Top G might not necessarily match to my mum and dad that shout out to them watching this. Then they might then find that and then be at the dinner table speaking about that thing over there and pass on that message. You know what I mean?
How crazy is it though to think that like a couple of years ago I didn't even really like understand what like podcasts weren't really about. Like where did they even all of a sudden just spring out of nowhere and they become so popular, especially at a time where short form content was so big? It felt like the long form content in a form of a podcast seemed to blow up at the same time. Like, was it the likes of like Stephen Bartlett, for example, like paving that way? Because it seemed like podcasts just blew out of it, like nowhere.
I think it took there was a switch for me where I thought, there's no way I'm listening to an hour and a half of
Yeah.
someone talking. But then suddenly it became,
I
actually,
completely agree. Yeah,
there's nothing more than what I want to do and sit and listen to that person for an hour and a half.
but it was weird. I wonder what really like
I think
made
it's
that switch.
The
learning.
hustle porn thing, and like, well, that's the thing again. Like people, It depends who you're talking to, because I mentioned podcasts to other people and they can't get their head around why you'd want to sit there and listen to someone chat for an hour or whatever. For me, I'm like, oh my god, this is an example. Like Hormozy, he's on a podcast, like that guy just speaks nothing but lyrics, and like there's so much value there.
certain little bits,
golden nuggets.
golden nuggets. Yeah.
And I'm just like, I need to consume it, kind of thing. But yeah, it just cycles back to the person, I guess, if you like.
Back in the day, you'd have had to have paid to listen to someone like Hormozy give you that value for an hour and a half. Now we're getting it for free. Spotify, YouTube, socials. It's just impressive, mate.
I think it's also like loads of businesses are now using podcasts, which I think is super smart as a lead generation tool. You know, people, you know, speaking to and expanding their networks. You know, if you are a business owner and you want a great way to get some new leads, people love talking about themselves. Ask them on a podcast and start conversations that way. And so many people are finding these new ways to connect with people. I think podcast has been a massive part of that.
Is that like that thing of the short form content, the whole funnel? Short form content's engaging, like will catch your attention, you find out more about that person, then the long form sort of builds that relationship and then trust. You express your knowledge, you give your value, you sort of then have a better platform to. It's similar to like you might fire off a message as like an outreach. In that time, you've only got a couple seconds. You have to like get their attention, this, that, and the other. But then, say once you're on a call, you've got their full attention. You've got opportunities to do X, Y, Z, and then that's sort of in relation to that the funnel that these types of things present, I guess.
Yeah, crazy world we live in.
Very much so.
I think that's quite a good place to sort of wrap it up.
Wrap things up.
What's next then? What's the next episode? When are we dropping these? Weekly?
Yeah,
Every
weekly. Hopefully every Monday we'll be dropping these. We've got some exciting guests lined up, which I'm super excited about. So yeah, let's get it consistent.
Yeah, let's actually make a go of it.
Yeah.
Not
It's only taken us how many months?
Far too long, mate. Far too long. But no, looking forward to what the future holds and
Definitely.
where we can take the daily grind.
That is the one. It's been an absolute pleasure, Jen.
Been a pleasure, boys.
As always.
Coffee with you.
Mum and Dad, I hope you enjoyed listening.
See you on the next episode. Cheers.